It's very interesting because in a post-Squid Game landscape, everyone is asking, how do we come up with the next Masked Singer or Squid Game as producers in Korea, producers in America? And I think there's a lot going on. So we're already seeing reality shows that are inspired by Squid Game. So we just saw NBC's Bloody House, which is an escape room slash Squid Game. So you're seeing quite a bit of that, right? So that happens often after a big scripted hit. You'll find it happen even with Parasite. We're talking about reality shows, but what is the reality version of Squid Game? So you always hear that, and every network is being pitched that. But I think it's important to look at trends and what's really working. And I think sticking to the single theme for drama is very helpful. But looking at things like what has worked well this year, supernatural and horror is working incredibly well. It works globally. So absolutely on the drama side, I think there's going to be even more supernatural. The Uncanny Counters, I think, are a perfect example of a show like that. I think there's themes that you normally wouldn't see. There's a lot more in gender, right? And male versus female stereotypes. You're seeing much more female empowerment in Korean TV. And I think that's come from big issues in Korea over the last couple of years with employment. So you're seeing shows, whether they're dance shows or business shows or singing competition shows, where the role of the female contributor is very different from how it's been in the past. So I think it's really keeping your ear open to what's going on. And I guarantee, because of what's happening with questions about race and ethnicity, you're going to see shows that explore those issues for sure. I mean, there's other really big hot button issues that I think will resonate here because they're resonating in Korea. So bullying, you see a lot of bullying now. We saw shows about hazing in the military, things that are really talked about both in the US and in Korea and globally. I think DP is an interesting example of a show that was probably much buzzier in countries where there is a draft, there's mandatory conscription. And from what I understand, in places like Israel, where you have mandatory conscription, and obviously in Korea, these were much more hot button topics. But I know people here, the military is such an important part of America. I think it resonated. I don't think it resonated in quite the same way where it was a social big issue here. I think it would have several years ago. But I think elements of the show, like hazing, like being part of the military and the police, I think that's where American audiences gleaned storylines that really resonated for them. Producers should look at what's trending. What are those big hot button topics in the newspaper, on Instagram, on TikTok? What are people complaining about? What are big issues like that? So of course you want your escapism, your rom-coms, your hometown cha-cha-cha, but you also want those hard-hitting shows that will explore what are those subjects that were taboo a few years ago in Korea that aren't now. So gender roles, I'm seeing much more in the very delicate way that LGBTQ issues are being handled in Korea with boy love and all that. You're seeing that in a lot of storylines. The globe is open for everyone because of all these streamers. We all have access to content from around the world, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, streamers. We're all seeing how the LGBTQ community is depicted in even reality shows like Queer Eye. So I think viewers in Korea probably felt, and networks felt like it was time to represent characters from the LGBT community in a very accurate way. So I think Itaewon Class had a very inspiring LGBTQ character, and I think in the past that just wouldn't have been on a big network show in Korea. So I think giving equal time to that character in Itaewon Class was really defining. Even if you look at a show that a lot of people have seen here called Romance as a Bonus Book, I think the LGBTQ treatment in that was also done in a very respectful and meaningful way. And I think bringing in both writers, talent, crew who are more representative will help both Korean and international shows have storylines that are just much more authentic. And I think the more you see that, the more you'll see change both overseas and in Korea. And I think those themes are very important to be in shows, not only from a practical commercial point of view. People want to see themselves. They want to know that other people are talking about these issues. So you're immediately attracted to it, but also it will affect change. What I find really, really exciting this year is another trend, which is webtoons being influential in not only supernatural and horror dramas, but also in rom-coms. So I think looking at Yumi Cells is a brilliant new drama which effortlessly combines animation and rom-com. And it's such a brilliant device because you see the main character's inner thoughts, whether they're pure or not, all shown with animation, what's going on in her head. So it definitely borrows some of the DNA of Inside Out. I see a real kindred spirit to actually a show done many years ago by HBO called Dream On, where the protagonist's thoughts, it was told through black and white 1940s, 50s film stock. And I think it's brilliant. So I think in an amazing way, you can not only bring your animated assets to the forefront and to audiences, but also tell a really effortless story. So seeing those webtoons inspire everything from supernatural horror, but then of course drama has been really exciting.